Good afternoon. My name is Amanda, and I'm here to assist you today with your search for articles for your class at San Jose State University. I developed a database specifically for that purpose, and I hope that you find it easy to use, easy to understand, and effective in searching for your information needs. First, let's discuss what your questions are. I want to know exactly what it is you are looking for. From your query, we'll search for titles, abstracts, and vocabulary words that will match our keywords. Then we'll analyze the retrieval results to see if the information retrieval system I used was effective or not. If it wasn't effective, we'll discuss ways we could strengthen the search. Lastly, we'll discuss an article that we find to see if it was exactly what you are looking for. So the first thing you want to find are articles about user behavior in the online environment. The first field we'll search is titles. Since titles tend to be short and to the point, I've decided to use two very short words that describe our search: user truncated, or behavior truncated, or online. Abstracts tend to be longer due to their descriptive nature, so in that field we'll use user, or behavior, or users. Any one of those three words must match with internet or online. In the postcode field, which is a field that has assigned vocabulary words to each document, I have to use that predetermined vocabulary to search, so we'll use users and information-seeking behavior and World Wide Web. The relevant documents have already been predetermined by myself. We will judge the precision of the query by taking the number of retrieved relevant documents and dividing it by the number of all documents retrieved. We will then judge the recall, which is a calculation based upon the number of relevant documents retrieved divided by the total number of relevant documents. From those two numbers, we can then calculate how effective our query was. As you can see, most of the results from the query were fairly effective. The title field had great recall and was very precise, therefore very effective. There is similar success in the abstract field as well. Where I fell short was when I searched for articles using a predetermined vocabulary list, or postcode vocab. This sends red flags to me about my database. Perhaps not enough words were assigned to each article, or perhaps a different Boolean operator was needed. The next item you are seeking is information about the problems with relevance as the basis of information retrieval. Let's come up with a few keywords to put into our search fields. Again, the first field we'll search is titles, so we'll keep it short and sweet by using two very short words that describe our search: information retrieval or relevance. Abstracts tend to be longer due to their descriptive nature, so in that field I'll use information retrieval truncated, or information retrieval system, or IRS. Any one of those three words must also be found with the words relevance, or effectiveness, or evaluation. In the postcode field, I have to use that predetermined vocabulary to search, so we'll use effectiveness, or evaluation, or information retrieval systems, or relevance. Notice that this time we use the Boolean operator OR in our postcode field instead of AND. It looks like we yielded fairly decent results again, although some of the articles returned may not be relevant. I was able to get precisely what I wanted when I searched the abstract field, but the database did not bring up other articles that may have been relevant for you. So while the precision was great, we may have missed articles that could have been relevant. The postcode field seemed fairly effective, but it returned articles that may not be relevant to your question. So instead of not returning relevant articles, it returned irrelevant articles. I did use a different Boolean operator in this query, and that may have affected how many relevant articles were returned. What seems to be a recurring theme in this query is relevance. I predetermined what was relevant or not, but someone else may have a different idea of what relevance actually is. So with a different database designer, different results may have occurred. Since your question was about problems with relevance as the basis of information retrieval, and we seem to have an issue with just that, let's look at this one article that was consistently returned in this query. Article 13 was the one article that was consistently retrieved, and it's titled Information Retrieval as a Trial and Error Process, written by Don R. Swanson in 1977. This article reviews three famous information retrieval experiments focusing on internal inconsistencies in the variability of search results. The experiments were designed to determine the effectiveness of the information retrieval systems by examining whether or not the information retrieval systems retrieved relevant documents. The author, Don Swanson, feels that this criterion provided insufficient answers to the various information retrieval systems' abilities to retrieve relevant documents. Rather, he proposes that one needs to first understand that the concept of relevance is variable and that one should pay closer attention to the trial and error search process as opposed to just looking at the statistical results. Swanson evaluates three popular information retrieval evaluation experiments: the Cranfield 2 project, the Medler's test, and the SMART system. He discusses the issues with each of the tests, which mainly have to do with the ambiguity of the term relevance. Swanson examines that as well. What is relevance, and to whom? He creates two frameworks for relevance. One refers to relevance as something that needs to be created, as in the user needs to see it to know if it's useful or not. For example, let's say I'm searching for information about dogs and I receive 20 documents. I, as the searcher, must go through the documents to see if they're relevant to me or not. That's what's key here in this particular framework: relevance to the searcher. This framework for relevance is the one that's most often used. The second framework refers to relevance as finding a document that is on the same topic, regardless of what the information need is. Again, let's say I'm searching for information about dogs. Any document I receive that has the word dog in it, documents about dog breeds, dog training, dog food, dog poetry, would be relevant under this framework. This framework for relevance is not used very often at all. Swanson offers a few suggestions for improving information retrieval evaluation systems. The first of which is to improve the dialogue between user and retrieval system. The second suggestion is that libraries should improve their browsability, which at this time meant ensuring that books are on the shelves to be found, so perhaps an increase in book purchases or a limit on checkout times may improve browsability. There aren't any suggestions for online databases, as they were not available at the time that this article was written. Swanson's third suggestion is that citation-based procedures should be more lengthy. He suggests that authors of scientific papers should include their reasons for citing each reference, and he actually does so in this paper. And that concludes this query. I think that Swanson's article nicely explains issues that I may have had with my own database, and it certainly fits in with your questions about problems using relevance as the basis for information retrieval. I certainly hope that this article helps you in your studies. If you have any more questions, please feel free to come back anytime. Thank you.